Steve, how have you used this international break over the last couple of weeks?
Well, obviously we used that initially to come back in, reflect on Wycombe, give the boys a couple of days off, and come back in fresh after the weekend and work on some areas that we need to work on. But obviously we're limited in numbers in terms of personnel, etc., to do the type of what we'd like to do more of. But hopefully we've done enough to be ready for tomorrow.
Injury news? Is there anything on Zach Jules?
No, Joe's not available for tomorrow. Looks like Mick Williams and Coyote won't make it either. From little niggles they've picked up, muscle related. Probably half expected with Coyote because he's been out a long time, come back in. Don't think Andrew Green's fully recovered either. So we are at 15, 16 players available, with the injury list as high as it's been. So. But we have to focus on the boys that are available to us, Robin, not the ones that are not available.
How is there anything a club can do to prevent injuries? It feels like we talk more and more with teams these days about long injury lists across the region.
Well, I think it's around the league. There's no one sitting here saying that we're the only team with injuries. It was a lengthy list last year that Matty and Liam had to battle with, and I inherited. Some of that continued throughout the summer with players like Andre. And then obviously this season there's one or two we would consider they've been very unfortunate. They've hardly missed a game, as you've said, and it's been written locally that players like Raggett missed 4 games in 5 seasons or something, and he's played something like 9 starts here, 10 starts. So that's an example of what we've had to endure. But as I said, we'll try and focus on the lads that we've got.
How do you think you did against Wycombe? On reflection?
Well, I thought we were very good in periods against Wycombe, particularly second half. I don't think I've met one person in football, including managers who have managed in the Premier League, who didn't think on 80 minutes rather than score, maybe score again. If you concede poor goals, it's always going to be a problem. We conceded a poor goal to let them get their noses in front. As I said, I can excuse the third goal because we're into added time. We'll have to go and gamble. I'd always rather run the risk of losing a goal to score a goal if it's that situation in the match. But we played very well against a really good side.
It's always difficult when a team is not in the playoff mix or promotion mix, isn't necessarily in a relegation battle at all, and the crowd was lower than it has been in the past for that Wycombe game. How do you recapture the imagination of fans with the games you've got remaining?
Well, listen, I think we need to recapture ourselves, players and staff. That's first and foremost. I was talking to Alec Ravel earlier this morning at Stevenage, and he felt last night, and I covered the game for television, is that he was saying that he found it very difficult to be looking at the motivational players before the game when you're sat there in mid-table. We're a little bit different. We've got a number of players playing for contracts here that are out of contract in the summer with decisions to be made. And even if you have a contract, there's got to be decisions to be made whether you would be seen as the right types of player at this minute in time to go forward in the summer. So there's lots to play for, and I'd imagine the Crawley lads have got even more so with the threat of relegation.
Yeah. One or two have wondered, what's the future hold? The direction of the club. Have you had conversations with Tony at all since Wycombe about what the plan is moving forward? And do you believe you will get the summer to reshape this team how you want to for next season?
Well, the chairman's told me I will. So he's always been a man that I've known true to my word. He understands that at the end of the season there's always a post-mortem, whether you've done very well or whether people don't realise it. You think if you win promotion you go on holiday and everyone thinks everyone's been great. That's not always the case. And if you've had a poor season, by our standards we've had a poor season. But if you're going through a dark tunnel and it breaks down, you don't go off the train, do you? Fix the train and you move on. So from that's if you've got credibility of engineers on the train. Sounds a crazy statement, doesn't it? But the answer is, the chairman said that, but we've 9 games to focus on. We've 9 games for me as a manager, for the staff. We've never been tested like this in terms of the injury ratio. I think we've got 15 first team players available for selection tomorrow, 2 of them goalkeepers. So it shows you that, and that's been more in the season than it's not been at times. So we're getting tested fully. We don't miss 3 or 4 like say Leyton Orient last night, missing I think it was 4, but still have 23 to pick from. We're not in that situation. So but the football club's in great shape. I think our chairman and the Stewart family will always make sure it's in great shape. They can't do any more than the investment they do. We need to make sure that we get the summer right.
What is your message to fans who may have lost some faith this season, Steve?
Well, I think they're entitled to be disappointed with the season. They're disappointed with certain performances and certain results. Of course, I have to focus on both sides. I have to focus on that, quite rightfully. I have to focus on the positivity of the performances when I didn't see anyone leaving the ground against Charlton, Bolton, Huddersfield, Reading, going away complaining about Wrexham here. When we lost by a goal, 20 seconds, we should win 3 or 4. I don't remember fans get out the stadium that day thinking, or those days thinking, they're disappointed. But you'll always reflect on tables. You know, we are a mid-table side. I think our performances over the period, good and bad, probably say that's where we sit. And no one knows more than me that there's a huge job to be done. But as a chairman remarked to me the other day, is we started a postmortem to what's going wrong, and there was lengthy conversations. He was pleased with that because he summed up at the end by saying, well, if we don't know what's going wrong, how do we fix it? We know a lot what's going wrong, but it's not for public ears and eyes at this minute in time, but it will be in a full debrief for you guys and the other medias at the end of the season, because then it'll be time to open up a little bit.
With Crawley, they've obviously changed the manager. They've had a good result and scored a brilliant goal in a recent win. What do you expect from them? Because I suppose on the one hand you could look at this and go, what an opportunity, Steve, to go out there, put on a performance against a struggling team, you know, really sort of show that, flex a little bit and say, look, we have got a good squad. But it doesn't work like that in March, does it? You know, teams don't just tend to come and allow you to do that when they're fighting for survival.
Well, they're not just fighting. I mean, Crawley's a possession-based team. They've been that up since Scott Lindsay, even before Scott went in, to be fair, first time around. They've been a possession-based team, and they kept that under Rob, and Scott's gone back in, so they've kept that. And when they're a young possession-based team with a freedom to play, it can be very attractive on the eye. They got a brilliant performance, a brilliant result. Could have been 3 or 4, 5 maybe against Bristol Rovers last Saturday. And we know how tough it was to score last minute to beat Bristol Rovers. So I'm expecting a real tough afternoon, but there's not a given in League One. There's not a given. Who would have said that Barnsley don't just go and easily deal with Cambridge last week? There's no givens in this league. It's Burton Albion. You know, Shrewsbury had beat us, had 3 or 4 great wins under Gareth, but then it's collapsed again. So there's no givens.
Thanks, Steve.
Sean McWilliams and Josh Cowley, what's the exact nature of their problems?
Cody felt his calf. Training on Tuesday, and Sean McWilliams felt his core after a finishing exercise. So
any time frame on return?
A couple of weeks, probably both. You know, it's just more added. You know, if you had that to Raggett, you add it to Jules, you add McWilliams to that list, it's 5 or 6. McDonald, 5 or 6 big first team players missing, and a small squad doesn't leave us with lots of options.
Yeah, another big first team is that Jules. I mean, how much is how long is he?
A couple of weeks, I think. I think a couple of weeks with Zach. Probably now same with Sean. Andre Green, I'm probably thinking 10 days to 2 weeks, but it's a reoccurrence of that ankle around the Achilles area. So that's we hopeful at 10 days. It could be worse. We just need to look at Andrew's mechanism of healing and see how that goes.
Hakeem, what is it like playing different positions? And I suppose to some extent versatility can be a good strength and a positive, but do you have to adjust constantly when you're being asked to do different roles?
Yeah, I think this season, out of other seasons, I've probably played a single position more than anything else, obviously centre-back. But yeah, obviously there has been times I've been centre-back and then moved to maybe a 10 the next game, so it's a big change. But I'm used to, you know, having to make those quick changes. I'm more than willing. Obviously, I do find comfort in the centre-back position. By the end of the day, you know, whatever is needed for the team, I'm more than willing to help.
Is there a different responsibility when you are playing defence versus maybe filling in at 10? Because I suppose when you're on that last line of defence, So every move that you make can be crucial, can't it? But when you're at the other end, it's that little bit more freedom, isn't there, to try something?
Yeah, I'd say concentration as well. Obviously, with centre back, I feel like sometimes, well, depending on the game, it can be more so the mental aspect of staying switched on. Then obviously being further up the pitch, it's kind of always trying to either be a nuisance or getting in the right positions, that kind of thing. So yeah, they definitely ask different things, but yeah, no, it's like I was saying, it's something that I'm more than willing to do. But again, yeah, there's I definitely think there's certain positions where I can excel at more, the most.
You've played consistently well for a period of time now at Rotherham. How do you think you've come on as a player with this club?
Well, I feel like consistency always helps. Being able to play most weeks has been a blessing. And yeah, it's not something that I take for granted. So being able to have that consistency of games is, and then yeah, it's just about, again, concentration. Each game asks for different things, and yeah, a bit of individual pride as well as that collective pride as a team. I feel like having those two things together can lead to, yeah, like I was saying, consistency on the pitch.
When you first arrived, you had to be a little bit patient, didn't you, to sort of get the regular starts that you were hoping for. How did that period maybe shape you a little bit? Did it sort of give you that extra bit of determination that when you started to get that regular football, I'm going to make sure that I keep this spot in the team?
Yeah, I've said before that it's not, from the beginning of my footballing career, I'm talking like academy football, nothing's ever been promised or been given to me, so it's something that I take pride in, being able to withstand, the downs, and then, being able to try and elongate the ups, because that is what football is at the end of the day. It's a bit of a roller coaster as a player. And yeah, just to be fair, I think the change room helped a lot as well. We've had a great bunch of boys over the years, and having boys that you can talk to, that you can work with, that you can always get better at, even if it's maybe not on the pitch as much as you want on the training pitch, being able to work on things. So yeah, just keeping that consistency with what I can control, which is like on the training pitch whenever I'm away from here. Again, like I was saying, that individual pride of maintaining my own standards.
Do you think you're at the peak of your career at the minute, or do you think you're entering that peak?
I don't know. It's hard to really tell. I can't really tell the future, but I can just say that I'm enjoying playing. Obviously, we always want more as a team, but yeah, you can only kind of take it game by game, and having an opportunity to be able to play is, like I was saying, it's not something I take for granted. So I'm just blessed, and I understand that blessing, and I just have to keep giving 100 really every opportunity I get.
When you're in a position like you are, you're coming to the end of the season. Obviously, there's a lot to sort of discuss about the future in time. What kind of goes through your head, and how easy is it to separate thoughts of the future with the need to sort of think, I've got a game on Saturday?
For me, it's never really been something I've struggled with. It's been quite easy for me to kind of just focus on the next game or on the game that's coming up. Because, yeah, like I was saying, I think having the mindset of, nothing's really promised, you never really know what's going to happen, it makes it easier to kind of focus on the now, and on like the next thing, and the next thing is always the next game. So yeah, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to myself and to the club if I was not focusing on each individual game with the same amount of concentration. So yeah, it's definitely something that I don't let affect, the day-to-day, because I don't think that would be fair.
With the remaining games this season, how do players find that extra bit of motivation that you would otherwise get going for promotion, fighting for survival, when you're in a position like the club currently is?
Well, I think it comes down to pride, knowing what we're playing for, that it's bigger than just us individually, We know, well, I know that the players around me know that at the end of the day, when we're turning up on a Saturday, there are people that have paid, hard-earned money to watch us play. And I feel like there's a pride for the club, for the community, and turning up on the pitch on a Saturday it's not something that we should we should take for granted, and I don't think it's something we do. And so, again, I think it goes to personal pride, but also pride as a club. That if there's a game on, that it's a game to be won. You know, performance to be put in, because we are playing for something.
Finally, you sort of see it in flashes, don't you? I think we saw a bit of it against Wickham. There's quality in this squad. There could have been so much more this year. How do the players feel about that? Does it feel as if it's a bit of a missed opportunity this year?
Well, I think we understand how the quality that is in the team, and you know, as players, you can't. I don't think it's something you can disregard. You know, and I don't know. It's hard to really kind of look back and look on individual performances, but I do agree. I feel like we have seen flashes, and it has been on us about making those flashes more consistent, making them last longer, and we have opportunities to do that with 9 games. You know, with 9 games to put our best foot forward, because again, that's all you can really do is whatever's next. And again, like I was saying, that personal and collective pride, getting together and doing that.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Max, I'm going to start with a compliment. I've been covering this club for 11 years. At that time, I've never seen a player with a better attitude than what you've got. Is that just something that's always been within you? You know, just talk me through your approach. And you talked about personal pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, well, firstly, I appreciate that. I don't know, it's hard to really say. Maybe just the way my career's kind of gone. Again, like I was saying, you know, we spoke many a time, and I've always kind of spoken on me not really taking opportunities for granted. And I don't know whether that means I have a good attitude or else. I just feel like it is an attitude that I've grown accustomed to. You know, it's something even in my personal life. Understanding that, you know, I'm blessed with the opportunities I have, and I feel like life can humble you, you know. And I feel like from an early age, especially with football, I think I was kind of, if anything, if for lack of a better word, humbled, in the sense that, you know, obviously being released as a young boy and having to fight my way, you know, to prove myself. Yeah, it's kind of just carried into my career, and I've seen it bear fruits, you know, keeping that humility, and taking that into every day, every training session, you know, every match, and seeing what comes of it.
You've become a huge figure at the club. Are you aware of how popular you are with fans?
No, but I mean, I'm always speaking. Whenever I get an opportunity to be able to speak to and have conversations with people around the club, you know, it's always great conversations, and I feel, you know, that love, and hopefully they feel it from me as well, because I've met some really great people over my time here.